أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين والصلاة والسلام على رسولنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم سبحانك لا فهم لنا إلا ما فهمتنا إنك أنت الجواد الكريم رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقه قولي وأفوض أمري إلى الله إن الله بصير بالعباد اللهم صل صلاة كاملة وسلم سلاما تاما على سيدنا محمد الذي تنحل به العقد وتنفرج به الكرب وتقضى به الحوائج وتنال به الرغائب وحسن الخواتم ويستسقى الغمام بوجهه الكريم وعلى آله وصحبه في كل لمحة ونفس بعدد كل معلوم لك اللهم إنا نسألك علما نافعا وقلبا خاشعا ولسانا ذاكرا وشاكرا وتوبة نصوحا اللهم إنا نعوذ بك من علم لا ينفع وقلب لا يخشع ودعاء لا يسمع وعمل لا يرفع ونفس لا تشبع رب زدني علما وفهما والحقنا بالصالحين اللهم اجعلنا من التوابين واجعلنا من المتطهرين واجعلنا من عبادك الصالحين واجعلنا من الذين لا خوف عليهم ولا هم يحزنون رب يسر ولا تعسر رب تمم بالخير لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. My respected brothers and very respected sisters and everybody who is watching us over the net, Jazakumullahu khairul jaza for joining us this evening in our Friday night Usra at the Coburg Islamic Center in Melbourne. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make our learning a beneficial learning, ilman nafi'a. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to learn by heart in our inner and applied in our lives. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you, your loved ones, every one of us with khair, with rahmah, with maghfirah inshaAllah. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower upon you all His blessings both in this world and the hereafter inshaAllah. Many people tonight in our gathering, perhaps not here yet because of this time change. We might get people after Isha, it'll be too late. For the next inshaAllah several weeks we will be having our Usra, Friday night Usra, because of the times between Maghrib and Isha. Maghrib and Isha, because time is moving. Inshallah ta'ala. And since, alhamdulillah, our regular viewers are watching over the internet, and this is being recorded, so that inshallah perhaps they might have to log on to the website ymatv.com and perhaps watch it from there if they missed out tonight. But nonetheless, because we promised people that we will be starting after Maghrib, we will inshallah ta'ala continue and we will inshallah ta'ala press on. Today inshallah ta'ala, tonight, I want to present to you perhaps two beautiful, perhaps three main hadith for our discussion. This is from Mukhtar al-Hadith, hadith number 638. And inshallah, we will listen to with our heart, with our beings, because these are the words of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is the guide, this is the guidance. Our deen is based on Qur'an, our deen is based on the beautiful sayings of our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, what he said, what he did, what he advised us to do. And how our ulama, muhaddithun, fuqaha, mufassirun, they have interpreted for us and passed this information intact in a preserved manner, unchanged all the way to us, for us to be illuminated, for our hearts to receive some nur from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is an important message. Imagine that we are sitting before Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He is directly talking to you as his ummah, as a person that who believes in La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah. Ashab kiram Ridwanullahi ta'ala alayhim ajma'in, his companions, they used to listen to Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam so earnestly from the heart that it is said, if they used to they sit so still and listen, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, their eyes are fixed, or perhaps on the ground and listening with full adab, so much so that if birds were to come and perch on their heads, make nests, the birds would not know that these are human beings, because they are so still, full attention, just fixed. Because they took everything, every word of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam as a command, every instruction for action. So this was the deen. So when Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam speaks to us, we need to listen with the same seriousness, pay the same attention, give the same importance, same respect, same reverence, same adab towards the hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, so that when we listen with this intention, with ikhlas and sincerity, full of attention, that begins to penetrate into our hearts. Then it becomes really meaningful, and we begin to put into practice. If we listen to it just a talk, just a lecture, especially from the sinful person, from this good-for-nothing person, so if you think that it is just my words, you will never benefit anything from it. So if you just remove me, but listen to the words of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam when the hadith is read, inshallah you will benefit immensely. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turn this into a blessed night, a blessed learning, inshallah, time for us, a class for us, so that inshallah we press on now. The first hadith, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم رحمه الله. In other words, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower his blessings upon such a person. Who? May Allah have mercy upon such person. May Allah treat that person with mercy, rahmah. Really take care of that person. Who is that person? Rahimallahu man hafidha lisanahu. Those who are able to protect their tongue from the harms of the tongue. A person can protect his tongue. May Allah's mercy be upon the person who can, who could, who is able to hafidha, protected his own lisan, tongue. وَعَرَفَ زَمَانَهُ. And he who knew his time. I will explain what this means. His time. And thirdly, وَاسْتَقَامَتْ طَرِيقَتُهُ. And the one who has straightened, consistent, straight on his tariqah, on his path. Very comprehensive hadith of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It gives us 3 golden principles, and actually in this day and age we suffer from these quite immensely. So we will learn as our mashayikh, as our teachers explain to us from actually their talks, their notes, and I shall, inshallah, my job is to just convey to you. Allah is the one who creates the impact, ta'seer in the hearts, so that inshallah we all benefit from it. Who are the people that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants to give his rahmah to? Who? Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is explaining to us. Rahimallahu man hafidha lisanahu. A person who protects his tongue. A person who protects his lisan. this lisan, this tongue is not foreign language. We're not talking about Chinese. We're not talking about some other language. When you say language, we're talking about the way you talk. This tongue, the one who holds the tongue, the one who's in control of his tongue, the one who can protect his tongue from the sayyi'at, from the maharimillah, from the harams. One of the greatest distinguishing factors between us, the rest of the creation, is our ability to speak. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us. عَلَّمَهُ الْبَيَانِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the ability to talk. We can sit down and talk for hours. We can settle our differences. We can discuss the most important things. It is such a gift. It is such a gift that we cannot put a price on it. The greatest weapon in the world, greatest tool in the world for a person is his tongue. People sit down and talk. They settle scores. They sign contracts. With their tongues, they earn lots of hasanat. With their tongues, they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If they do this, they get lots of hasanat. When they speak something sweet, something nice, to put some happiness into the heart of another fellow human being, they get hasanat. So I'm just looking at you, I don't say anything. But if I open my, how are you today? Inshallah, I've got some good news for you today. I just give him something nice. And sweet talk, as they say. When you speak nicely, even that, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, is a sadaqah. Even that is a sadaqah. Putting surur into the heart of a Muslim through your words or through your deeds is one of the greatest gifts, greatest ibadah in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Putting surur. If he were to read beautiful Qur'an, you can't read Qur'an silently. You need to read Qur'an. When you're making tilawah, you read. When you listen to Minshawi, Abdul Basit, when you listen to Khalil Husari, when you listen to the Sudais or Shuraim, or, they say, subhanallah, beautiful. Can you imagine? Any of those people becoming famous, so to speak, silently? Silent recitation? Doesn't work. It's all a tongue. When a person speaks the truth, when a person he speaks when he's needed as a witness in a court, then he can change the case to something that is adala, justice. When a person speaks the truth, when it is so difficult to speak the truth, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says it is jihad. To speak the right word against an unjust ruler in front of him, to his face, is the greatest jihad, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says. So this tool can allow us to come close to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But if this tool is misused and abused, for example, if we were to lie with it, which majority of the people do it so skillfully these days, when they begin to use it for profanity, swear at other people, if they were to break other people's hearts, it says, you broke my heart. How did I break your heart? I didn't go and break your heart. I broke your heart with my what? Firstly, with my tongue. Breaks relationships, create fitna, ghiba, namima. These are all types of harms that can come through the misuse of the tongue itself. When they go and become false witnesses, when they go and speak in front of people with falsehood, when they sit down and waste their time on speaking trivia and nonsense. And na'udhu billah, worse still, when a person uses some words, what we call in our aqidah, alfaz al-kufr, words that will take you outside of Islam. You say things beyond you. You say things that this is not your domain, but you speak so big, with arrogance, without knowledge. The words that come out of with this tool here can take you completely outside of Islam. So, there is the positive, there is the negative. Lisan is a tool that can hold you by the hand and take you all the way to Jannah. Lisan at the same time is a tool. If you misuse it, if you let it be used in the hands of your nafs al-ammara, being abused by your nafs al-ammara, it can take you by the same hand and take you all the way to Jahannam, hellfire. It can be a means of gaining Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's rida, or it can be the tool that will bring the wrath and anger of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala upon you. It's all here. You see many people that have been friends for many years. All of a sudden they don't talk to each other. They don't see each other. They became enemies to one another. And you find out what happened. What happened? He said this, he said this, he said this. So this is misused. You go to mahkamah, you go to court cases where there is divorces are happening in the family courts. More than 85% of all cases because of this misuse of tongue. He argues that she has spoken so bad about his relatives, parents, brothers and sisters. And she argues that he has sworn at her mother or father or somebody else. So the language, the tongue, caused so much harm that the whole family is breaking down with even 3-4 children. Why this here? Tongue. Lisan. Whatever you think, whatever information that your heart or your mind processes, the lisan, the tongue, expresses this. So, if you use it positively, properly, it becomes your best friend. If you abuse it, it can become your worst enemy. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Qur'an, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, in this regard, قَوْلٌ مَعْرُوفٌ وَمَغْفِرَةٌ خَيْرٌ مِّن صَدَقَةٍ يَتْبَعُهَا أَذًى وَاللَّهُ غَنِيٌّ حَلِيمٌ. Kind speech and forgiveness is better than charity followed by injury. You give to somebody a sadaqah, some charity, and you use it against them for the rest of his life. Remember, you needed some money, I gave you some money, you owed to me, mate. This is called adha in Islam. Allah is self-sufficient, Allah is forbearing. Ali karramallahu wajha wa radiyallahu ta'ala an, Imam Ali, Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu an says, the biggest wounds, deepest wounds that are caused, opened, inflicted by a sword, in time can heal. But the wounds that are caused by a tongue, a person's tongue to another person, can never heal. On the day of judgment, even on the other judgment, on the other side, they will come and get you. One word can break a peace between 2 warring factions. One word that comes out of your tongue, this little thing, so small in size, but what it does is so big. This lisan can start a war, can start the greatest fitna between families, can break up nations, societies. It is such a dangerous tool. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, majority of the people go into sin because of their tongue. Because of their tongue. In a different hadith, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, من يضمن لي ما بين لحييه وما بين رجليه أضمن له الجنة. Whoever can guarantee for me what is between his jaws, upper and lower jaw, in his mouth, and what is between his legs, his private parts, if he can control them, if he can control his tongue or his private parts from falling to zina, or can protect himself, hafidha, protect his tongue from causing harm to others, I put my name as a guarantor, Muhammad Mustafa, Muhammad al-Amin sallallahu alayhi wasallam, the most beloved of Allah, Habibullah, Rahmatan lil Alameen, Shafi' Mushaffi', Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, greatest intercessor on the day of judgment. I guarantee you, he is the seal of Muhammad Rasulullah, that you will definitely go to Jannah. Two things. And he even puts it in a more clearer manner in the following hadith, in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad bin Hanbal. لا يستقيم إيمان عبد حتى يستقيم قلبه ولا يستقيم قلبه حتى يستقيم لسانه ولا يدخل رجل الجنة لا يأمن جاره بوائقه. Beautiful hadith. Even if we just took this hadith itself and applied in our lives, we will be saved. The iman of a person, the iman of a servant, the faith of a servant is not complete, is not correct until his heart is correct. His heart is making the right decisions pro-Allah. His heart has submitted to Allah. He is not a labeled Muslim, but a person who looks everything with the intention of Ilahi, Anta maqsoodi wa ridaka matlubi. His choices in life for everything, from mundane to profound, everything is Allah, Allah, Allah. Everything is for my Allah. This is what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants. This is what Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam wants. In my career choices, in my life partner choices, in my children choices, in my clothing, in my sitting, in my eating, in my associations, in my networks, in everything, my heart is with Allah. Until you have this is called true iman. This is called yaqeen. This is called conviction. This is what you believe. If the heart of a person is not correct in this regard, he is not a true Muslim. He says, but there is a sign for this. The heart of this person is not correct, proper, until his tongue is correct. Because this is a tarjuman. This is an interpreter of what is in your heart. So when we teach our children, when we say what you mean what you say, but don't mean when you're saying it. Yeah, we teach our children. When people speak the truth, we say he's honest. At least he speaks his mind. He speaks his heart. We don't like people who speak in double language, double layers. We say, don't trust him. He's snake, tongued. He speaks different languages, different ways. Yeah? So the heart, lisan could never speak proper. It can pretend for a while, but not always. Lisan can never speak proper until the heart is okay. Until the heart is settled. Until the heart is proper. Until the heart has submitted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam says, and no man shall ever enter paradise, Jannah, whose neighbor is not safe from his mischief through his tongue or through his hands. How do we hurt our neighbors? Do we go and bash them up? No. Why do neighbors at the council go and, they go to the police station? What do they do? They fought with each other? No. Maybe in the olden days. Now, it's all he said, she said. He said, she said. It's all our tongue. And we cause some property damage, and therefore they have sued us, mahkamah. This is all caused by the same thing. So, no person is a good Muslim until his heart is good. And no heart can be regarded as good until the tongue is good. His speech is good. The way he uses speech, this tool. And Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, none of you can ever enter Jannah unless your neighbors are free from your evil, through your tongue and through your words, through your deeds. If you were to look at Imam Hujjatul Islam Abu Hamid al-Ghazali, rahmahullah, in his Ihya Ulumuddin, there is a huge section on the afatul lisan, on the harmful effects, on the harms, damages that can cause, that the tongue can cause. There are over 40 different, what do you call, the topics within where he talks about the harms that can come to you or cause through the tongue. Tongue itself is only a biological matter, nothing more, it's just a flesh. But it is so powerful because the rider, the controller, your nafs, your heart, is the one who uses it. Otherwise the tongue itself cannot speak. The tongue itself cannot do anything. If the tongue was anything, just if it had its own mind, if it had its own intelligence, you should go to the butcher, get a big, huge tongue for 2 kilos of a, what do you call, an ox, and he says, excuse me, I've got the biggest tongue, he should talk the biggest speeches. No, even the smallest person can cause the most damage. So my intention, inshallah, because we want to protect our lisan from the afatul lisan, we want to protect the tongue from the damages, harmful harms of the, what do you call, lisan, the tongue, because Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, rahimahullahu man hafidha lisanahu. May Allah have mercy upon people, upon the one who protects his tongue. From what? How do you protect your tongue? You go and say, go to the insurance, I want to take a special insurance. What's that? I want to protect my tongue. I want to preserve my tongue. So is that the insurance we're talking about? No. Is that the protection that you're doing? No. I want to put my tongue in a very special place, in a box with a code that nobody can access. No. That's not what we're talking about. Controlling the speech. Controlling what comes out from your tongue, from your mouth. The first thing, the first afah, we are told by our mashayikh, by our teachers, is speaking about that which does not concern you. People love to talk about other people. People just love to gossip. People constantly engage in namima. Namima, ghiba, is talking about others, not about yourself. Backbiting and gossip is about talking about other people. You go to fitna book, they call it Facebook. You go to any chat channels. You go to anything, teenagers with their cell phones or the hell phones. Look at the SMSs they send to each other. 99% of the time, a useful tool becomes a Jahannam tool. A useful tool, like Facebook, becomes a Jahannam tool. Why? Because people use this wrongly. They speak about others, not in the good manner, in the bad manner. Our mashayikh tell us, in this regard, whoever understands the value of his time, that it is his ra'su mal, capital, will utilize it except for something beneficial. Time is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we're going to look at the zaman in the safe section. Imam Ghazali rahimahullah says, it is a two-edged sword. Time is such a weapon that you have to work one way with it. You can't do double. You either cut with it or it cuts you. With your time, you utilize it for your benefit, therefore gain Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's good pleasure, or you don't do any benefit towards your akhirah, it will kill you, it will damage you, it will cause harm to you. Time is such a weapon. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, min husni islamil mar'i tarkuhu ma la ya'nihi. In the Tirmidhi hadith, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, part of the goodness of a person's character, a person's Islam, a person's deen, is his leaving that which does not concern him. Just don't talk. Because as soon as it comes out, Malaika writes it down. They shake their heads. When you begin to talk about other people, ma la ya'ni, empty talk, trivial talk, nonsensical talk. When you begin to talk, Malaika writes. Nonsensical talk between men is written as negative. Man, we talk about footy, weather. Okay, we talked about weather for 1 minute, footy for another minute. Then what? People can't do anything. They need to speak. And the first thing they talk about is other people. They talk about something absolutely nonsense. Talk and talk and talk. There are many formulas that people use who are in certain positions to make you talk on certain things. Empty talk. It is part of a goodness of a person's Islam, character, his deen, is his ability to leave what does not concern him. Ma la ya'ni. Ma la ya'ni, actually if you can achieve this, is a maqam. A person who can control his tongue from talking nonsense. Very difficult. We go crazy if we don't talk. We have a saying in our language. He says, if I don't talk, my tongue swells up. I need to talk. Yeah? My tongue swells up. I need to talk. Yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us the ability to talk, but it doesn't mean that we go and talk for nothing. Ma la ya'ni is the biggest empty waster of our precious time that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us as our greatest capital. Secondly, the second half of the deen, delving into falsehood, batil, talking about acts of disobedience, such as music, drinking, other gatherings of some haram. There are many types of falsehood. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says in this regard, إِنَّ الْعَبْدَ يَتَكَلَّمُ بِكَلِمَةِ يَزِلٌ بِهَا فِي النَّارِ أَبْعَدَ مَا بَيْنَ الْمَشْرِقِ وَالْمَغْرِبِ. Both in Bukhari and the Musnad of Ahmad ibn Hanbal, Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, when a slave of Allah will sometimes utter a word that comes out of his mouth to make other people laugh, to get attention from other people, or to cause some, stir up, maybe in times of anger, sometimes through sarcasm, quick-wittedness, which we encourage everybody in this culture. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, a slave will speak a word which it will be so severe in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala becomes so angry with him with this word, he will be cast into the fire of Jahannam so far, so deep, farther than what is between east and the west. In front of a kafir, in order to get into his good books, or something, get some benefit, some manfa'ah out of this munafiq, you say something that is against haqq and truth, one of the shi'a'ur al-Islam, one of the symbols of Islam, one of the things that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala holds it holy, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sees it something that is, to be respected. You make fun of it. You make people laugh. These words can create such a canyon between you and your salvation. You'll be cast into Jahannam so much, between east and the west. Huge. So, if you hold this one, nothing happens. If you don't say anything, nothing happens. Malaika don't write anything. Closely related to this, delving into falsehood, batil, is again something that we do so well with our tongue, is jadal, argumentation. Muslim doesn't argue. Or disputations, al-mira', and attacking someone's verbally with the intention of showing his mistakes, finding mistakes with him, criticizing. When you open your mouth, one of our teachers say, the easiest maslak, easiest profession in the world is the maslak of the ahmaq, the profession of the most foolish people on earth. It's the most common profession in the world. I wonder what that is. That is to find faults with other people, to criticize people. They've got nothing else to do, but they have an opinion on a particular issue and they will criticize anything and everything. Anything and everything. A person, therefore, must stay clear of disputing with anybody, even in matters of religion, especially in matters of religion, once the haqq is established. There is an argument between two brothers on a particular fatwa, on an issue. They're both expressing their views. And none of them wants to lose the argument. They talk and talk, deeper they get into this haram. And once somebody, a third person, says, this is what our fiqh says, this is what the sharia says, it should be end of discussion. The other person says, but I think still, the words, you are just digging deep your grave. You are going to hurt yourself badly. So this is something that we should also, this is one of the harms of the tongue. We must, in order to not to get into disputes, not to argue with people, not to have jadal, unnecessary argumentation, we must truly understand the concept of kibr. Kibr, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam defines as looking down upon people, and when the truth is spoken to you, you do not accept the truth. So if you have a difficulty in when somebody tells you the truth, no matter whether you like it or not, if you were to argue back with the truth, against the truth, not with the truth, against the truth, this is called kibr. So you have actually a deeper problem in your heart. That's why your tongue is insisting on this jadal, in this argumentation. When a person insists on jadal, he's either trying to show off his knowledge, or he's trying to seek some attention from people, or he wants to show his superiority to other people like him. Imam Shafi'i rahimahullah, qaddasallahu sirrahu al-aziz, a great imam, he says that wallahi, when I ever get into an argumentation in fiqh, they're having a discussion in fiqh, again on a particular point, I wish that the truth comes from the tongue of my brother who is speaking to, not my tongue. I want the truth to come from his tongue. As soon as truth comes from him, they all ascend to the truth. If it was us, man, I was humiliated, embarrassed in front of the people in public. Astaghfirullah, I'm going to fight him back. I'm going to show it to him. This is, you have no knowledge, you're an ignorant fool, and you have not understood the concept of knowledge. Therefore, this tool that you use between your jaws is your greatest enemy. Disputes which reach the level of animosity, khusuma, is worse still than disputing itself. When it comes to a simple dispute, becomes animosity and hatred between the people, this is really worse. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says in this regard, Inna abghadar rijali ilallahil aladun al-khasimu, meaning the most disliked men to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are those who are extreme in disputes which reach to the level of animosity, enmity and hatred. Okay man, stop it, khalas, you don't have to kill me. You don't have to hate me. Okay, you win. Nah, it's not good enough. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, when he describes a kafir, when he describes a munafiq, he says, what are the signs of munafiq? When he speaks, he lies. When he promises, he breaks. Correct? When he promises, he breaks. Sure. When he trusts something with him, he betrays. Yeah. There is another one. He says, when he argues, when he gets into an argument, disputation, he becomes very foul. He goes overboard because he's arrogant. He goes, really turns into an animosity. Quite a few people that I know in my life, in the younger days, at university especially, people, I don't want to lose the argument. Why are you arguing? Because I don't want to lose. Man, that's the truth. That's a haqq. The fact is a fact. I don't want to lose. Okay, go ahead. Keep on like a fly, hitting his head onto the window. I want to go through. You can't go through. Ahmaq. You can't go through. It's a window. So no, I want to go through. Okay, try dying. Yeah, go try dying. Some people are like this, of this nature. So we should keep our contact to minimum with these people, because they will turn this into an animosity, hatred. One of the other afat, one of the other calamities, harms of the tongue, is to engage in lowly speech. When I say lowly, it's not in relation to height and low, but in terms of lofty and low. Lofty speech is nice speech, full of hikmah, full of wisdom. Lowly speech is mockery, talking too much needlessly, repeating myself constantly, or making efforts to rhyme in one's speech, flowery words. You're trying to speak like a big shot. You don't have an education. You're trying to use big words to impress people, and you use the words in the wrong context. People laugh at you in the first place. Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said in this regard, Inna ahabbakum ilayya wa aqrabakum minni fil akhirati mahasinukum akhlaqa wa inna abghadakum ilayya wa ab'adakum minni fil akhirah masawikum akhlaqan الثرثارون المتفيهقون المتشدقون. Ahmad ibn Hanbal in his Musnad says the following: the most beloved of you to me in the hereafter, therefore we shall be the closest to me in the hereafter, are the best of you in akhlaq. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says akhlaq. Akhlaq is a character, and the character is judged first and foremost by not how you look like, how you move. It's your tongue. The first thing people look at is how sweet you talk, how truthful you are. If you need a, what do you call, a bag, because green stuff keeps on coming out of your mouth, okay, no matter how much perfume you put elsewhere, you still stink. Because people cannot handle still foul language. You keep on speaking French when people want to speak English. You just hurt people. This is not akhlaq. Not the akhlaq of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So he says, the closest to me on the day of judgment amongst you is the one who is best in akhlaq, in character. The most disliked of you to me and the farthest from me in the hereafter are the worst of you in character. Al-Thatharun, those who talk too much or repeat themselves needlessly. Al-Thatharun. Al-Mutafayhiqun, those who talk too much and open their mouths wide and talking, trying to express. And Al-Mutashaddiqun, those who joke and mock others, even twisting their mouths in mockery. They are too quick, and just make fun of everything. They're born to make fun of everything. Typical Aussie. You can crack a joke with anything, even a janaza. They will do it. Hey, bro, this is a janaza. This is a funeral. Have respect. That's their way of relating to others. A joker. Complete joker, day and night. This is not the character of a Muslim. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, these are the far removed from me on the day of judgment. But this does not apply to the repetition of a khatib when he speaks. A sheikh, when he's explaining a particular concept and repeats the ayah, repeats the hadith several times. Today, tomorrow, the day after tomorrow, until it sinks in. This repetition is not covered under this particular definition of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam's, the people who are far removed from me. The fourth bala, the fourth affliction that a person receives through his tongue is the obscenity and crudeness. When we speak about distasteful things in explicit terms, people of goodness and khair speak about such things only indirectly and giving by indirect examples. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala uses so beautiful words to express such things. You can express actual biological bodily parts and so explicitly to get the point across, or you can use words, indirect words that it makes sense, perfect sense, that everybody understands. When you say husband and wife are being intimate with one another, what does that mean? Let me explain it to you, bro. Birds and the bees, you know? And he goes, birds and bees. I said, good, okay, birds and bees. But when you begin to open your words and begin to use explicit terms, that conjures up images and changes the minds of, especially affects the minds of the young people. And people begin to giggle, and shaitan alayhi la'na gets more pleasure out of this, and becomes into something else. I thought we're teaching about something health issues, something that is beneficial for human beings, and we talk about. There is always touching. Touching can mean many things. Subhanallah. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, just please, may Allah forgive me for even saying. He says, when a person is holding two branches of a tree, to a normal person, this doesn't make sense. But when you talk about intimacy with your spouse, it makes perfect sense. But Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam doesn't use crass words, crude words, open words. He uses symbolic words that everybody can understand. This is the adab. So we need to abstain from profanity, obscenity, and crudeness in our expressions. All of our mashayikh, bila istithna, without any exception, when they speak, they actually speak with such an adab. Subhanallah. Number 5, excessive joking. If only done in moderation, it is not haram in Islam, as long as that joking is truth. Our beloved Nabi Muhammad Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to joke. And he used to joke with people, but not excessively. Anas ibn Malik radiallahu anhu narrates a particular hadith where he said to him, oh, the one with 2 ears. But he said in such a language, in the Arabic language, 2 ears, if you literally take it, that means literally you've got 2 ears. But you say also to what do you call a camel, you say that to a donkey with a rabbit with 2 ears. Everything has 2 ears. So it's telling the truth, but at the same time, he is joking. Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, again in a different hadith about the joking of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Anas ibn Malik says that a man sought a mount, a horse or a camel, in order to go to jihad with the Muslims from Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He says, Ya Rasulullah, can I have a horse or can I have a camel to go to jihad with the soldiers? Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, yes, I will mount you on the son of a camel. Son of a camel. So the man didn't understand what Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam was saying. says, Ya Rasulullah, what should I do with the son of a camel? Son of a camel means camel. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, and do camels give birth to anything but camels? So even the camel that I'm going to give you, a big camel, is the son of another camel. So, but he understands as something, a little camel. Another lady comes to Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam and says, Ya Rasulullah, an old lady, a very frail lady, maybe 70, 80 years old. He says, am I going to go to Jannah? What does Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam say to her? Old ladies don't go to Jannah. She's devastated. She's about to cry. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, you will not be old when you go into Jannah. You'll be a young lady when you enter into Jannah. Yeah, he's telling the truth. So the rule is, when you even using words to tell a joke, there must be the truth. Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to say it. So the first rule of joking, permissible joking, is it must be the truth. You can't make a joke out of a lie. And secondly, Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to do this with children, used to do this with women, and those who still need training due to weakness among them. And thirdly, this joking of Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam was a rare, not a regular, not a profession. He was not a joker. Like some people keep on saying, Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam used to make a joke. Yeah, a joke, 2 jokes, 3 jokes, 5. Okay, in his entire life, how many jokes? Yes, he has made jokes, but not like you, where 24/7, everything's a joke. And we call them no jokes anymore, it's comedy. Halal comedy now. We get in front of people and make people laugh, and we think that we're making da'wah for Islam. Yeah, quick-wittedness, ghiba, namima, hijb. It is all out the window, as if they don't exist. Because too much laughter, our ulama tell us, lowers the dignity of a person. Lowers the dignity of a person. And causes spite and grudges in the hearts of others. If I keep on joking with you, if I act jokingly in front of you constantly, what do the younger children, younger students think? This guy is cool, yeah, for the time being, yeah, but he's only a guy like us. Many of our sisters, one of the things on the priority list of their marriage list, one of the items they put is, he must be funny. You know, he makes me laugh. The guy is so funny, he's really good. And I ask a question to her, do you want to marry her? Marry him? She says, nah, not with a joker. I want my man to be serious. Should know when to laugh, should know when to be serious. But the guy even cracks a joke in the janazah. Or you go for Azza, everybody's, the person just lost his son or a daughter or mother, and you're cracking jokes. You have got no adab. There's something wrong with you. And you get bored, you get scared if you don't joke. This is not on. So we need to be careful. I think our time for salat is here. We should go and do our salat. And I think we should also stop here. Because as I've told you right at the beginning, next few weeks, inshallah, because of the time, the daylight savings, we will immediately start after Maghrib and finish by Isha time. And after Isha, the food will be served as per our custom. Inshallah, our ikram is made to you. Then after that, we can go home. Because it becomes late afterwards. The times have changed. Inshallah, we will continue with the Afatul Lisan on the basis of the hadith. In our discussion, the catalyst is Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, Rahimullahu man hafadha lisanahu. He who, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy upon the one who protects his lisan. So how to protect your lisan? He who does not know what they call the potholes are on the ground, on his path, will fall. If you don't know what the viruses are in an environment, that you don't take necessary protection, you will be contaminated with that virus. If you go into an area where there is cholera, there is malaria, there is AIDS, without any form of protection, you will definitely catch that disease. And if you do this without any preparation, you're nothing but a fool person. So our job, our ulama teaches us that we must learn the harms of the tongue, afatul lisan first, in order to protect ourselves from the harms of the lisan. Because it is such a weapon that it can go either way. Abu Sa'id al-Khudri, rahimahullah, radiyallahu ta'ala an, he says in one hadith narrated from Nabi sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, he says, every morning, every limb of the body literally beg the lisan. They say, oh lisan, we beg you. Oh tongue, we beg you. Please have mercy upon us. If you are good, we are safe. But if you put us into trouble by your words, your actions, we all be in trouble. So don't underestimate. This is a very serious topic for our shabab, for our youth, for our ladies, for our wives, for our sisters, for our mothers, for every single Muslim, for our politicians, for our leaders, for every single Muslim. Because this, the main tool that takes you into Jahannam, or perhaps the main tool which will take you to Jannah. وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت وحدك لا شريك لك نستغفرك ونتوب إليك بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والعصر إن الإنسان لفي خسر إلا الذين آمنوا وعملوا الصالحات وتواصوا بالحق وتواصوا بالصبر وصلى اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين لله تعالى الفاتحة.